The other day, I got whitelisted for early access on Feather Client, which if you didn't know is a brand new Minecraft client with a bunch of special features and everyone's hyped for it. I was super stoked to log on, but when I finally did, I was a bit disappointed at what I saw. Today, I'm going to be talking about my personal issues with Feather Client and why I think it might not succeed in the long term. If you enjoyed this video, then be sure to drop a like on it as well as subscribe, and let's hop into it. If I had to describe it, Feather Client is like a mix between Badlion and Lunar, and one of the things they took from Badlion is that everything about this client feels clunky. A great example of this is in the GUI and the GUI editor. The GUI design here is a solid C tier at best. Just take a look at these animations when I press right shift. They almost feel laggy. On top of that, the GUI editing is also quite awkward and hard to maneuver, which is why my FPS and CPS counters are like this, by the way. I tried setting them up in the same spot as Lunar, but after about 10 minutes of pure pain, I just gave up. Now, one could argue that the reason these quality of life features are just not present in Feather Client is because they're trying to optimize for performance and give you a bigger FPS boost than other clients. And while that may be the reason, I actually have the exact opposite experience. After doing a quick FPS test by queuing the same map with the same pack, render distance, and everything else on both clients, I was surprised to find that Feather actually gave me a 30 to 40 FPS decrease compared to Lunar Client. Another weird issue with this client is the knockback. YouTuber The Lost Steve talked about this in his Feather Client video, and I definitely agree with him on the fact that for whatever reason, I just take so much more knockback on Feather Client. Take a look at this side-by-side comparison. When I'm fighting my friend on Lunar, I pretty much don't move, but on Feather Client, I get sent absolutely flying whenever I get hit. Maybe that's just placebo though, I don't know. Let me be clear, this video is not a hate video towards Feather Client. In fact, one good thing I'll say about this client is that it has replay mod. And it actually works too, unlike any other client to ever exist. And the voice chat feature seems pretty cool too, if it's done right. Personally, I just think the client's very mid and not enough to get me to switch to Lunar. So your boy is definitely not becoming a Feather Client main. Now that we've talked about my personal dislikes with this client, let's talk about why I think it might not succeed in the long term. As of recording, this client is in a closed beta, meaning you have to get whitelisted for early access by either being a content creator or purchasing a special beta access cloak for $13. This is an amazing market strategy to generate hype for this client. Because most people aren't able to get their hands on Feather right away, they naturally become really interested in it and can't wait to download the client as soon as they can, just to see what the hype's about. However, this strategy is dangerous because if the client doesn't immediately meet people's high expectations of it, the client will almost instantly die out. And this sort of thing literally happens all the time in gaming, but let's take a look at one similar situation that happened with another game, and that's Apex Legends. Back in February 2019, Fortnite was the one and only popular battle royale game. And then out of nowhere, this new game called Apex Legends appears with a trailer, and everyone gets really hyped for it, saying that this game is huge and it's gonna take over Fortnite. Well, the game gets released and instantly explodes in popularity. And then a couple weeks pass and people realize that this super hyped up game isn't all they thought it would be and stop playing. And within a couple of months, Apex Legends is completely dead with only a small community of dedicated fans still playing the game. And that's what I think might happen with Feather Client. Currently, people's expectations for this client are so high that I feel like once they actually are able to download it, they're going to be disappointed to find out that it's just a generic client all around and eventually switch back to whatever client they're playing on before. Especially if Lunar and Badlion decide to add a voice chat feature or a way to load your own custom mods, because at the moment those two things are really the only unique features in an otherwise very average Minecraft client. Again, I'm not saying Feather Client is a bad client by any means. I actually thought it was pretty decent aside from a couple of gripes I mentioned earlier. I just don't think it's this new game-changing client that's gonna take over Lunar that the community is making it out to be. So to the Feather Client developers, if you're somehow watching this video, take your time, listen to community feedback, and really perfect this client before releasing it to the public. Also, maybe fix the GUI because that thing is just nasty. And to anyone else who's still watching, please subscribe. I have been editing this video for 4 days and it's just